She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, and welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are very blessed that you decided to join us today, and I hope that you're blessed as a direct result of joining today's program. I believe that today is a day where you will make some new choices. I think today will be a day that you will kind of look in the mirror, look at how you're living, and decide whether or not if it's the true path of success that you want to be on. Today I have joining us a long time client and even friend, Carmen O'Quinn. I knew Carmen when she was single and dating another one of our clients, who now is her husband, Jackie O'Quinn. Carmen, when I met her, beautiful girl. However, she had a weight problem. She didn't think she had a weight problem, or at least she never exposed to any of us that she thought it was a weight problem. In fact, I even had the opportunity to help her, to prepare her as a bride the day that she married her man. And I had never met someone so confident in her own skin and yet having far more than 150 pounds to lose. All of about 5'2", maybe. You'd never know with her 6-inch heels that she sported, her beautiful black suits, the way she carried herself with her gorgeous, big old fluffy lips, her wonderful long eyelashes, the way this woman carried herself with at least 150 pounds to lose. She literally looked like a drop-dead gorgeous model, the way that her confidence really shared herself. And I remember when I got her ready as a bride, and I'm talking, we were in very intimate quarters, as I'm literally helping her be dressed and preparing her body as a bride and seeing every inch of this woman, and yet her still having this confidence. And one day, recently, she made a decision that her success picture needed to include her doing something about her health. She has lost 160 pounds. It only took 13 months. I've been anxiously awaiting to have her on this show because she has inspired me in a way that was necessary. Not only has she inspired me, but she has inspired thousands upon thousands of other people, because Carmen was one of those that just never really was going to lose weight, never really cared about losing weight, was never worried about losing her weight, or at least that's how she presented herself. Carmen, it is such an honor and a privilege to have you on the show today. Now I'm tearing up as we're going to bring you on and people are going to hear your voice, because there are no words to describe how proud I am of you and how you have overcome, and the example that you have set that has also caused so many more of our clients to make the decision to take control over their health, and how it's also inspired me to take my health and my lifestyle to a completely different level. You were a big part of that inspiration, as well as a few other people that was like, dang, man, God really has used you here in our office and in my life. So Carmen, if we can first start here, because you have been a part of the DaniJohnson.com community for more than 10 years. In fact, it's coming up on 11 years. Your husband's been here for 11 years, actually, as of last September. A few weeks ago, he had celebrated his 11th year as a client and consistent and most faithful man. And so you're coming up on 11 years. First, start with the financial part of your story and what has happened to you since you started tapping into this. And then we're going to just dive deep into the other part of success of your life, which is your health.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me. It is an honor to be here with you. I got started plugging into the DJC, First Steps to Success, Creating a Dynasty, the entire system. At the time, I was in my early 20s. I was a businesswoman, and I had gotten my business up to $720,000 a year. But I was stressed out. I was working 80 to 90 hours a week. I had no life, no freedom. I resented what I did, and I really didn't know a better way to do it. I was just doing what I knew. And my boyfriend at the time had been plugging into the trading system, And he kept telling me, oh my gosh, has Dani said this and Dani said that? And out of sheer curiosity, I went to my very first event. And that really was the start of everything. That really was the start of my life. And within 18 short months, I took that business from $720,000 to $3.7 million. I took my hours from 80 to 90 hours a week, stressed out, no life, down to 40 to 50 hours a week, and actually started living my life. Ended up marrying that boyfriend. Today we have 2 beautiful children. We have paid off over $250,000 in debt. We are debt-free, including our mortgage. And it has just been, I know that I am the woman that I am. I have the marriage that I have. I'm the mother that I am. I have the body that I have today because of the training that you guys provide.
So Carmen, it's been really an awesome transformation. It has. And I always was concerned about your health. What finally brought you to the place where you made the decision to lose weight? Because I really thought, man, I wonder if Carmen is ever going to reach into this part of her life. Is she ever going to be concerned about her health? What finally brought you to that place? Because it was like a random thing. You know what I mean? You guys had paid off all your debt. You had successful businesses. You know what I mean? You had your dream kids. Like what provoked you to finally make the decision about losing weight?
I was at the table one night. Jackie, he was working late, and I was thumbing through a parenting magazine we had gotten in the mail. And I had always said that my choices with my weight affected me, and that was it. Yeah. And I was really passionate about not having my kids be overweight. I didn't want them to have that handicap in life, because even though I had had success in certain areas, weight does handicap you. Yeah. And I was really passionate about my kids not being overweight. And I always thought my decisions weren't going to be their decisions. I was going to make different choices for them. And I was reading an article, and the article said that children with one overweight parent were twice as likely to be overweight. Yeah. And children with 2 overweight parents, and at the time Jackie was considered overweight, they were more than twice as likely to be overweight. So that was like 200%. The odds were stacked against them, and that just broke me. I sat at that table and I just bawled like a baby, because my choices no longer were affecting me. They were now affecting my kids and my grandkids. Yeah. And I thought, what am I going to be remembered for? What do I want my legacy with my kids, with my grandkids to be? And do I want them to look back and say, wow, I followed in my mom's footsteps and I'm overweight just like she was. And I had the power to make that decision and to stack the odds in their favor. And that night was really it. I said, that's it. I'm done. I am done with this life. I am done with these decisions. And that was the straw that finally broke the camel's back.
I had a feeling it had to do with your kids. I really did. And I prayed for so long that you would want to set that example for them, because even that mindset, my choices affect me, but they won't affect my kids. That's a do as I say, not as I do. That's living a lie. It's not grooming your kids for success. And I know how passionate you are about grooming them for success and not being used as the example of an excuse, right? That I'm built like my mom and all of that. So at your top weight, Carmen, how much did you weigh?
288 pounds. That was not pregnant. When I was pregnant, I passed that, but just regular weight, 288 pounds.
And you are how tall?
5'4".
5'4". I thought you were 5'2". Okay, so 5'4", 285 pounds. So that day, you realized that you were setting your kids up to fail.
Yes.
And I'm so proud of the heart that you have as a mom, because I can tell you as a mom of 5 and a grandmother of 8 that my kids have had probably the biggest impact on shaping my life, of not wanting to be or do or say things that would shape their life with excuses and shape their life to be, like you said, handicapped. So that's a wise mom, in my opinion. My mom didn't make those wise choices, you know, and I wish I had had that kind of example. So by golly, I'm going to make that example, and that's the same example that you've said. So you made the decision. This is it. Where did you start?
I had a friend who he was a bigger guy, and he had gotten started doing some workouts and watching what he ate. And it was a system that I knew worked. And I thought, you know what, if this guy can do it, and I had watched videos of the same system. And so I knew the system had a track record of working. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it my best shot. I'm just going to give this thing a year and see what happens. It wasn't a short-term thing. I wasn't expecting results overnight. Yeah. I gave it a year and got started that next week.
Wow. And I remember when you started because my spiritual daughter and you are friends, and she was actually starting with you. It's like the three of you, your husband, her, and you were like sending pictures of each other as soon as you guys finished your workout, right? So you were taking pictures of the food choices that you were making, and you guys were taking pictures of the workouts. You continued and lost 161 pounds in 13 months. Did you ever imagine, Carmen, that you would lose 161 pounds in 13 months?
No, not in the beginning. In the beginning, I hadn't even thought that far. The more I got into it, the more serious I got. I knew where I was going, and I knew Operation Bikini, that's what it started as, was going to come to pass. But in the very beginning, no, I had no clue.
So in the beginning, what was like the hardest part, the adjustment that you had to make? What was the biggest excuse that you had to get over?
The hardest part and the biggest was probably my mindsets. I thought like a morbidly obese person. I had morbidly obese habits of going to the drive-thru and of not working out and procrastinating when it came to my health. And, I was really good at justifying where I had gotten and what I had become, and the body that I had let myself get. And so the hardest part was breaking those habits, and really I had to start thinking like the hot blonde in the bikini that I wanted to be for my husband. And I had to start thinking like the fit mom running around the playground with my kids long before I became that person. And that was the biggest challenge in the very beginning.
Wow. Okay, so when you say, the food choices and how you got yourself into that situation, like give me a typical day. What was for breakfast?
Breakfast would normally be toast with 2 pieces of toast, peanut butter on both, and homemade jam on both.
Sounds so yummy. So I want to go back. I want to dissect, what does a morbidly obese person think like? What does a morbidly obese person eat like? And what is those habits? As you were saying, and you had to like change your mindset to the small blonde in the bikini running after her kids versus the morbidly obese woman. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more with Carmen O'Quinn right after this.
The roadblock to the life you want might just be the thoughts you're thinking. Coming up, Carmen and Dani will expose the thoughts that hold us back.
Do you dream about feeling more confident, more beautiful, more powerful, but instead you're that girl that never learned to do their makeup, and now you feel lost in a sea of YouTube makeup tutorials? Or you're that new mom that can't get enough sleep at night and just wants to feel pretty again? Or the busy professional that wants to magnetize brand new clients and get more respect in the office? From the boardroom to the bedroom, xmhbeauty.com will help you. Our company has a proven track record of making beauty available on any budget, from celebrities to girls just like you and me. Our live classes, step-by-step tutorials, and insider secrets will have you standing out from the crowd. Go to xmhbeauty.com/Dani today to get your free gift from us. That's xmhbeauty.com/DANI.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. You want to succeed, right? But you do not want to fail God at the same time. There is a way to succeed from a biblical perspective, and it's far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Over 500 scriptures I studied to study money, everything that the Bible said about money. That's in the first couple chapters of Spirit-Driven Success. Not to mention leadership, working with people, growing a career, being used mightily in the marketplace, which is where Abraham, God used him in the marketplace. And Joseph, God used him in the marketplace. Moses, God used him in the marketplace. Daniel, Solomon, really all of the greats of faith, most of the greats of faith throughout the Bible, they all were in the marketplace. And God wants to show you how you can be used mightily by him in the marketplace. Right here, Spirit-Driven Success is where all of my notes are on how you can do that. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Spirit-Driven Success today.
If you've ever wanted to make millions, change the world, be the voice for the voiceless, and have a blast doing it, then you need to spend some time with this lady right here. She's been doing it for years, and she'll show you how. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So there you are one day, and here comes the wake-up call. You kind of have a flash go before your eyes, and you see your future, and you really don't like it. Here on the Dani Johnson Show, we're constantly challenging you with content that makes you think about your future and what kind of success story you want to have. Because you're in charge of writing it. You're in charge of your own life. You're in charge of the choices that you make every single day. You're in charge of the thoughts that you think and the words that come out of your mouth. And where Carmen O'Quinn was in her life just a couple of years ago, she had success in marriage. She had success in business. She was very diligent as a mother, as a wife, and she's been a client for almost 11 years. But a couple of years ago, she had a wake-up call, and she saw the future, that the way she was living with 161 pounds to lose, and her husband also carrying an extra, 35 pounds that he shouldn't have been carrying, that her children had a 200% shot at being obese, and she didn't want to set them up for failure. Do you love your kids? Do you love them the way Carmen and Jackie love theirs? Willing to make choices. So Carmen, on that first segment, you were talking about that you were morbidly obese and that you had a certain mindset and, you really didn't care. I want to know how you tricked everyone into believing that you were so confident. Seriously. I mean, I had so many conversations with you and it just never, it was never a goal of yours to lose weight. Never.
No, because I had convinced myself that to be thin or to be small, I had to live in this bondage of food, and that I had to eat salads every day, and that I could never go on a date with my husband or enjoy a cheeseburger if I wanted it. And I didn't want that life either. Yep. I had a lot of people in my life that were down this fitness journey, and it was so extreme, but I didn't do that. And I wanted balance. But that was what kept me from this my whole life.
Yeah, no, I agree. You and I had some of those same people. You know what I mean? I would just look at that and just go, your life is completely consumed about fruits and nuts and grains and quinoa. And I'm a chef and you're a chef. So it's like, we enjoy some amazing foods. And so my idea of looking like that was, based on the example that they set. Everything was consumed about drinking greens and you know what I mean? It was just not appealing. I don't care how beautiful your freaking body is and that your body fat's at 14% and how great shape you're in. You live in bondage. I want to eat the cupcake. Once in a while. I don't eat them every day, but I want to have the freedom with food because I love the way it tastes. So I agree with you. And that's the whole reason why I never started working out was, gosh, man, your life is consumed with it. No, thank you. I just don't want that life. So I hear you. And I think that's the same for a lot of people that, man, I want freedom. But okay, so tell me what your freedom, and this is a question that's been coming to me for years. What am I doing with my freedom? What are we as a nation doing with our freedom? What is the world doing with our freedom? So what were you doing with your freedom? With food?
Oh my gosh, I was exploiting my freedom. I was like taking freedom all the time. There was no balance. It was just, 80% bad choices. And the shocking part was I would have told you I ate pretty well. My body didn't show that, but I would have told you I didn't eat that bad, because to me, bad was going to the drive-thru for all the meals, and we didn't do that. But I had no idea nutritionally how to cook. I had no idea nutritionally how to make good tasting food that wasn't a 1,500 calorie meal. The more butter, the more oil was like, yes. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot for a lot of people, that we don't know how to make healthy taste amazing. We don't know the substitutions to make, like the one that I've recently found, non-fat Greek yogurt. Oh my, wow. This is like my new best friend. Mashed potatoes. Instead of butter, Greek yogurt, and it's packed with protein. Alfredo sauce, frozen yogurt. Like every day, my breakfast is 10 ounces of Greek yogurt with fresh pineapple in it. And this is legal? Oh my gosh, it's so good. I mean, there really is good tasting options that are out there that are so satisfying, and you feel like you're doing something wrong, but instead you're actually feeding your body nutritionally and helping your body to burn its own fat and to build muscle. Okay, so breakfast used to be a big giant peanut butter and jelly doubled up sandwich, right? So it's peanut butter on both sides and homemade jam on both sides. And because you made the jam homemade, you thought it was healthy.
Right. Never mind, it was 90% sugar.
Exactly. I'm doing everything from scratch, so it's got to be good. Yeah, 1,500 calories later. All right, this is Dani Johnson. We're going to get deeper into the menu. What food choices did she make to lose 161 pounds in 13 months and have that tiny little body today?
The way you look at things is about to change. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
So 4 years ago in July, we showed up to our first Dani Johnson event, our first Steps to Success. And we were completely desperate in every area of our life. At the time, I thought it was just because of our finances, but then I figured out pretty quickly that it was because of my lack of people skills that we were where we were. We sat in the front row. We got fast track, and we sat in the front row, right in the center, next to some amazing people, because we were so hungry, so desperate, so broken, and I pretty much cried through the entire event, honestly. And when she did the War on Debt, which she will show you, this afternoon, I went back immediately and got it. She had just started talking. I heard a couple stories, and I was like, if they can do it, I know we can do it. So we went back and got it and listened to it on the way home in the car, because we drove from Michigan all the way to Missouri. So we listened to it in the car, and when we got home, we immediately got our papers out. We wrote down our plan, and we started applying it. And within 14 months, we paid off over $62,000 worth of debt. We never in a million years thought that was possible. There's so much that has happened in the last 4 years, and I'm the person that wants the results immediately. I don't like the process of getting there. I want to just get there. But I've learned to appreciate the process over the last 4 years, and just seeing the transformation that has happened in us. Personally, we individually experienced different things, and we experienced a lot of things together. I was paying our bills. I was completely disrespectful to my husband and didn't really know how bad it actually was. And So that part of our life is still improving. I can say we're a work in progress. It takes time, and we have grown so much.
We showed up. My wife, I didn't know this at the time, but she was battling thoughts of suicide. I had no idea. I thought I was being a perfectly good husband. I did my best to serve her, be a great guy. But what she needed was somebody who would step up and be a leader in our marriage. That's not who I was. And I was totally emasculated, physically emasculated by, there was someone in our church, the pastor, and so we felt the brokenness of a church, having to leave and just hurt, and devastated. One of the biggest breakthroughs started in our marriage is when Lucy started being a wife to me. And I, as a leader, I should step up, right? Take action first, be the initiator. She did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different person. And I can tell you, our marriage has just, it's amazing the difference between her feeling suicidal, me stepping down as a leader, to me taking the initiative and just looking her in the eyes and saying, honey, thank you for allowing me to be your leader. And she just melts every time. This is awesome. So. So let me just tell you this, guys. If you're struggling, or you're broke, you're wondering what your next step is, hey, just take action. Follow those notes that you just took. Take action and do it, because your story is going to be here, and people are going to be inspired by your story. So are you all ready to take notes? All right, let's do this. Help me welcome Miss Dani Johnson, America's favorite millionaire, to the stage.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
All right, so you might have success in some areas of your life, but here on the Dani Johnson Show, we challenge you to have success in every area of your life. No matter what typhoon you're going through, earthquake, tsunami, no matter what kind of flood of problems have just rushed into your life, you can still have success. You can. And there are certain areas of your life that you might be avoiding. You see, part of success requires diligence and self-control. You will never become successful without diligence and self-control. And those are two muscles that you can exercise, and they get stronger and stronger as time goes on. Those two muscles are usually followed by decision. Once you make a decision, you take action. Now it requires diligence and self-control to succeed. So when I looked at certain parts of my life, I found some places where there was no discipline and there was no self-control, and it was wreaking havoc on my health. Joining me today is Carmen O'Quinn, who's lost 161 pounds in 13 short months. Made a decision that being morbidly obese was not a good example for her two beautiful kids, and that her kids did not deserve to have a 200% chance of being obese like her and overweight like her husband. So the two of them made decisions every single day and new choices. Will you make decisions and choices every single day that's going to help you have the success you desire? So Carmen, you explained breakfast when you were morbidly obese. What was your snack time, lunch time, dinner time? What did all that look like?
I snacked on nuts a lot because, in the whole health field, you hear that nuts are a good fat.
Yeah.
And never turning over the bag to look at how many, one serving of nuts is like 6 or something. I had like 2 handfuls, which was,
like 400 calories.
on my snack. And
Exactly.
So nuts and cheese. I love cheese.
Oh,
my
too.
gosh. Cheese
Yes.
was like, And, I never used 1 serving of cheese. You have to use at least 2 or 3 to taste it.
Try half the block, honey. Half the block. That's me. Half the block of cheese.
Yeah. And if I can't do half the block, it's not worth it.
Exactly. Man, that's crazy. So pastas and sauces and fried foods and all of that.
Yes, fried foods and pasta and potatoes and Alfredo sauces and just butter and oil and, everything I made, when I did cook vegetables, I made them unhealthy. Yeah. I did not possess the skill to make something healthy taste good.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't know how to do that. And I think there needs to be cookbooks that have that. And I think, are you writing a cookbook for that? You should. I know that was a funny question. You really should. You should. I'm going to. I haven't had a desire to write the cookbooks of all my other gourmet stuff, but man, making healthy food taste amazing where you feel like, like it's so satisfying. It's amazing. Like the sandwich I just ate. Oh, it was so good. Okay, so we've got a few callers that have some questions and concerns about weight loss themselves, and they have some struggles, and I want to give them the chance to talk to you and ask you some questions. So we got Jackie from California. Jackie, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Jackie,
Hello?
There you are. Hi, Jackie.
Hello, there you are.
Hi. Okay, so what's your question or concern or struggle with weight loss?
Well, my struggle has always just been like the mindset and the motivation. But until recently, my husband, he sat me down and asked me if he and the kids are worth it enough to actually get healthy and lose the weight. And he turned my excuse into my motivation now.
Wow.
So, so I've been on the right path for about 3 months now.
How's it going?
30 pounds. Pretty good. I just got pregnant, so there's going to be like a, little pause on this, but I've lost 30 pounds. So
30 pounds in 3 months is awesome. And by the way, there doesn't have to be a pause on it. How much weight do you have to lose?
Well, probably 25 more pounds.
That's not that bad. That's like pretty simple. But the key is don't put on another 30 pounds and then the extra 25 that most women gain when they're gaining weight. I mean, when they're pregnant. I lost 11 pounds in my first pregnancy, 13 pounds in my second pregnancy. My first pregnancy, out of the 5 kids, she's the biggest, and she's the one that I didn't gain a pound on. Why? I was 100 and... a lot when I got pregnant. I actually lost 35 pounds in that pregnancy and gained 11 back. And same when I was pregnant with Erica. I lost 35 pounds and then gained 13 back when I was pregnant with her. So I ended up giving birth at the same the same weight on the 2 of them. I just was heavier on the second one. So anyway, my point is that you can, if you make sure that you're feeding your body healthy and you don't just do what a lot of women do, which is like, forget it, I'm pregnant. That's a bunch of baloney, and it's nothing but an excuse. You can still maintain healthy, good weight during that pregnancy so that you don't have 100 pounds to lose after this next pregnancy.
Yes.
So what's your eating plan? And if you're craving things, it's because you're not feeding yourself enough good, healthy foods.
Luckily when I'm pregnant, I crave fruits and vegetables. So that's a wonderful thing. And I was like you, I lost 35 with my first pregnancy and 25 with my second, but I gained 20 back in both of them. So
it's the post-pregnancy.
Morning sickness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, post-pregnancy. Once breastfeeding stopped, it all came back.
Yeah. So then Carmen, let me ask you a question on that, because you had a plan, Carmen. You see, people try to have success with no plan, and that's why they fail. That's why they get frustrated. So what plan did you put in place, Carmen, that could help Jackie with her, where she knows, okay, my failure is after I'm done breastfeeding. That's when I get myself into trouble. So Jackie, you have to start looking ahead into what kind of a plan will you put together. And I would strongly recommend you listen to Carmen right now. Carmen, what would you recommend? Because you lost 160 pounds after you were done breastfeeding, after you were done having your children. So what plan would you suggest?
The biggest thing is just you have to plan. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And for me, that was so true. If I just tried to wing it with my diet, or I just tried to wing it with my food choices, I oftentimes made bad food choices. Yep. So I had to plan my meals. And I had to, in the morning, I already knew what I was going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yep. So I was setting myself up for success. I started tracking what I was eating. I started tracking my calories. And in the beginning, I wasn't used to it. It wasn't a habit that I had yet. Mm-hmm. But that habit, I quickly formed that habit. And I will tell you, it doesn't matter how much you work out, if you are not fueling your body with the right food, that doesn't even matter. Yep. So I would plan my food. I would plan my workouts. It was on my calendar. Yeah. I would set reminders in my phone. And when you plan that and you start doing it, you naturally follow through on what you've planned. And that would be the biggest thing I would tell you is just plan it. Sit down on a Monday or a Sunday and plan out the week.
Yep. And Carmen, you were taught how to meal plan all the way back in the war on debt days when you and your husband paid off $250,000 worth of debt. So now it's about taking that meal planning to each meal and snack of the day, what time you're planning on eating that, and making sure that it's a healthy one instead of winging it.
Yes.
Yeah, which is awesome. So that's like Time Secrets and War on Debt put together for your weight. Do you know what it is? I mean, because you already practiced Time Secrets for all those years. It changed your life. It saved your life. It cut your hours from 80 hours down to 40. Okay, and then the War on Debt thing, you already knew about planning and preparing for the future and meal planning for the week and shopping and staying within a budget. So it's the same thing. So calorie budgeting, right? Time Secrets with the appointments of when I'm going to eat, whether it was every 3 hours or however way that you did that, but being prepared in advance, knowing what you're going to do. And it does. It results in incredible high levels of success, like losing 161 pounds in 13 flipping months. Carmen, I will never forget the first time seeing you after you just lost 50 pounds. I like triple took. I was like, you and Jackie had your babies at First Steps to Success, and you guys were getting them dedicated from the stage. And I was like, whoa. What? And that was like 55 pounds that you had lost. And you're like, oh no, I'm going to keep going. And I was like, really? Like, you can get smaller than that, Carmen? You're a twig. And you're strong. Like, you're muscular. Your stomach is flat. Your legs look awesome. Your backside's amazing. it has taken me a year to get used to seeing you like this, honestly. It really has. There's like, someone murdered Carmen, and I don't know who this imposter is. I'm serious. My brain would not adapt. It was similar when I saw my daughter, Christina. It took at least a year for my brain to catch up with the reality that no one murdered her, and this really was her. Because you know what also changes when your body changes? Your confidence. Your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, how you carry yourself, how you walk into a room, how you leave a room. It all changes. And so that's the other part. It's like, that's Carmen. That's weird. Look at those jeans on her. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Jeez. It's like a crazy thing. All right. So you started tracking your meals. You started planning all of your meals. You knew when you woke up in the morning exactly what you were going to eat throughout the entire day. I want to give one quick tip that I do. I start with dinner and plan backwards.
Yes.
Because dinner's my favorite meal. It's my favorite meals. And it's like I have all these extra calories for the rest of the day to use. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
There are 2 skills that can launch you to success if you're willing to practice them. Are you ready to hear what's coming next on The Dani Johnson Show?
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
My name is Andres and I'm from Latvia. Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a struggling English teacher back home. I had a language school that I started when I was 21 and had grown it to be pretty okay in my city. But at the same time, I had acquired a debt of $60,000. In a matter of 8 to 9 months, I got rid of my debt. And by 2011, we had our first $1 million year. This has been amazing. We grew our school from about 100 students to 2,000 students. And I can only highly recommend for you to come to the next event and be part of this community and learn the tools that will help you to succeed.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, my family and I were hemorrhaging under the pressures of debt. Since attending First Steps to Success in January of 2014, my family and I have paid off over $147,000 in 19 months. We're completely consumer debt free. We have restored relationships, and our business is growing at a rate of 15% at every event. Your next step is to sign up for the next First Steps to Success and start creating your own story.
My name is Jeff Conyers, and prior to First Steps to Success, I was a struggling business owner. I had discovered that my business account went negative $5,000, and I realized that I did not have a business plan and I needed to do something. Fast forward to 1 year after, I have now created, just by implementing the tools at First Steps to Success, over $50,000, created another business, improved my personal and business relationships. Man, it's like the story is forever changing, and it just gets better and better. I don't know about you or what you're going through, but I would highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging into First Steps to Success, we were drowning under a mountain of debt. We were heading to divorce court. We had failing businesses and toxic relationships. Since plugging into First Steps to Success, our marriage has been restored. We have paid off over $56,000 in 11 months. We've helped our community pay off over $300,000 in 14 months. My business has grown in over 600% in 4 months. And for the first time, I could say I'm just loving life. I have great relationships. So if you are fine where you are, then this event is not for you. But if you're ready to reach your goal and to change your life, then I highly recommend that you get registered for the next event.
Hi, my name is Jill Kearns. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Prior to coming to First Steps to Success, my husband and I were struggling financially and were hurting in our relationship a lot. We needed more time together, and we just were struggling with that because of the finances. And so since plugging in, we've actually paid off over $280,000 in debt. We're completely debt-free, and more than anything else, the look on my husband's face of relief and excitement about where our future lies, and the traveling and the fun, enjoyable times that we'll get to spend together as a family is totally worth it. So if you want to have better relationships with your significant other, your children, if you have a desire to be completely debt-free and released from that bondage for whatever reason, whatever the burdens are, your next step is to get to First Steps to Success right now.
So prior to getting started to DaniJohnson.com, I was a college dropout. I was working a bottom-of-the-barrel type job. I started plugging into her training. I've skyrocketed through the ranks of corporate America. I've tripled my income in the last 5 years. That's all fine and dandy, but it wasn't, there's a part of me that had a part missing, so I ended up using Dani's prospecting skills, and I ended up meeting the love of my life. Since then, we've paid off $32,000 of debt since October 2014. So get here now. This is the greatest thing ever. You have to see this. The skills and strategies Dani teaches are unbelievable. They totally took someone like me with no education and helped me just like multiply my efforts. So you need to be here.
If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life? Discover your own answer. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Your life is in your hands, and your choices affect your family. It also affects your coworkers. You don't have to be handicapped. You can choose to step up, rise up, and do something awesome with your life that inspires others to make huge changes. Joining me today is Carmen O'Quinn, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, via Skype. Carmen has lost 161 pounds in 13 months. This is a woman who never cared about losing weight until one day she had a massive revelation that she was setting an example for her 2 children. She never wanted her kids to be handicapped with being obese, but yet the studies prove that if you're obese as a parent, there's a great chance your kids will be too. In fact, it's a strong, like 100% chance that they will, which is shocking. Carmen, we have somebody on the line from Indiana. His name is Don. He's a truck driver, and he would like some help with healthy food choices. Dan, as a truck driver, you know, you have have access to all the poorest, the most worst choices that are out there. But do you know what is also out there?
Nope, you'll have to fill me in.
Grocery stores. Grocery stores. Gas stations are not your only choice. There are grocery stores. And Carmen, what would you recommend he goes into a grocery store and gets as a truck driver?
Protein, fruit,
Yes.
vegetables, the things that are going to nourish you. You know, when you go to the gas station, when I used to be on a road trip and I would stop by 7-Eleven and grab something out of there, I would eat it and it would only leave me wanting more and not full.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm on a road trip and I'm hungry, I stop by. I really do. What Dani just said is 100% true. Yep. Stop by the grocery store, grab some tuna, grab some chicken, grab some whatever, grab a big old giant apple or peach, and yeah, it's just as easy as going to the drive-thru. If not, sometimes quicker.
Yep. Yep. Okay, Dan, in the last 2 months, I've been gone almost the entire time. I was gone in 3 months. I was gone in Nicaragua and Honduras for 3 weeks. I was home for 2 weeks and then gone for 4 weeks off in Europe. So I was traveling the entire time. And I made up my mind that on this trip, I was going to make healthy food choices and I also was going to do physically. I was going to be physically active. So I started this whole different food plan as of August 19th, and it's really simple, okay? On every plate every time you eat, have a protein, have a fibrous carbohydrate, so like something green or fruit, and one starchy carb. All right, so that's like a potato or rice, a baked potato or a sweet potato. Guess what I learned? Baked potatoes without a pound of butter taste phenomenal. I was shocked. It was like the first time ever in my life that I had baked potato without butter. I was like, this is so good. Why have I been like just, putting literally a half a stick of butter on a small little potato all these years? I've cheated myself, which is salt in a baked potato tastes amazing. But how does that apply to you? Because the grocery store has become my friend when I'm traveling. We arrived in Iceland. The first thing I did is I went to the grocery store. So here's some simple little things you could do from the grocery store. Non-fat, because it's naturally non-fat because they make it with skim milk, Greek yogurt, plain. So it has nothing but protein in it and healthy carbohydrates that are in there. Okay? You can get pineapple. Add pineapple. I don't know if you know of the sweetener. Do you have a sweet tooth? No?
I guess as much as anybody, but I wouldn't say I'm an overly sweet tooth person.
If you were, I would say stevia drops are incredible. The best ones to get are the health food store, pulling from the actual plant. They have them where there's certain part of the plant, it does not have a bitter aftertaste. But I add a little bit of stevia drops that doesn't have the bitter aftertaste with, half a cup of pineapple or a cup of pineapple in that yogurt. It is a perfect meal right there. It's fiber, it's healthy carbohydrates. It makes you feel like you're having dessert, which is probably my favorite thing to eat. And packed with protein. So I would eat that in the car, like literally on this whole road trip that I did. It was like I had that twice a day. And that's something easy to keep in the truck with you. Small little cooler, put the yogurt in there. Okay, and like Carmen said, it's easy to grab vegetables. It really is. Tomatoes, popping them in your mouth. Cucumbers, chewing on it. They're delicious. They really are delicious, and they don't need anything. They don't need salt. They don't need pepper. They don't need seasoning. You can also make, with your yogurt, an easy ranch dip. Those recipes are online. So easy. Dip some vegetables, carrots or cucumber or zucchini or broccoli or cauliflower. All this stuff is natural in the grocery store and will feed your body so your body is burning its own fat. Carmen, I love that you did very similar things to that. And Carmen, were you amazed about how much food you could eat and still lose weight?
Yes. When I started eating healthy, I actually ate more food volume-wise than I was eating as a morbidly obese person.
Yep. I have found the same thing. In the last 4 weeks, I lost 6.83 pounds of fat, solid fat, gained 3.5 pounds of muscle. Body fat went from 18.96% down to 14.35%. Eating more food and eating like good stuff. Like way more than when I wasn't healthy. It's wild. Okay, so we've got Monica Abram from the United Kingdom on the line. She has a question about her challenge with weight as well.
So my challenge is that I've actually lost, hi Dani, by the way, I've actually lost weight before.
Yeah.
And, 2 years, 3 years, it's just crept on steadily and very slowly. But I've lost weight so many different times over the past 10 years. And my main issue is that I've just gained it all back again.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think it's so amazing listening to all the stories. But I have to be honest, I'm really, really discouraged.
Yeah.
Because it's happened to me so many different times. And, it's great losing weight, but just when you just, it's just gaining weight, it sucks. It's horrible.
Monica, do you know what that shows? You did not have a plan for after you lost weight.
Right.
So, Carmen, how long have you been able to keep your weight off?
13 months.
So it took you 13 months to lose 161 pounds, and you've maintained that weight for 13 months. Why? What was your plan after you lost weight?
Well, I had to, when I started losing weight, it wasn't a diet. I had to learn, how to lose weight, but how to maintain and how to fuel my body and still be satisfied with the foods I was eating without having to gain it back. So many times people lose weight with this short term, just get the weight off.
Yep.
It has to be not only I'm going to get the weight off, this is the life that I'm going to lead for the rest of my life.
Yep.
And on a daily and weekly basis, when that diet's done and that weight's off, it's about still making good choices. Yep. It doesn't mean you can't make bad choices once in a while, but making those good food choices, still tracking, still doing, still putting in the effort that you did to lose the weight to maintain the weight.
Yes. And that's where a lot of people struggle. Monica, I had the same issue. I absolutely had the same issue. And so this year, I just said, okay, that's it. I'm done with this. And the decision was, I know how to lose weight, but I want to know, how do I get my body stronger and healthier for the rest of my life? What is my plan once I lose the 20 pounds? And that's been the focus, is the plan for the after. So Monica, you know how to lose weight, honey. You know how to do it. You know how to do that successfully. So the hurdle for you and the thing that's going to bring it home successfully for you is, what is your plan after? What is the plan after to sustain success? Success has to be sustained, and it will be sustained with the proper plan. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Let me ask you something. Do you dream about being more confident, more beautiful, more powerful? Are you that girl who never learned to wear makeup and now you're lost in a sea of YouTube videos? That busy mom who can't get enough sleep and just wants to feel pretty again? Or maybe you're that professional who wants a little more respect in the office. From the boardroom to the bedroom, celebrity makeup artist Xtina Harmsworth from XMH Beauty will help you. Xtina has a track record of making beauty easy on any budget. Her live classes, simple step-by-step professional beauty techniques and insider secrets will set you apart from the crowd. So don't sit on your dream another minute. Learn from the best. Get your exclusive free gift from Xtina today at xmhbeauty.com/Dani. That's xmhbeauty.com/DANI. I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used Job Domination and Unlimited Success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without Job Domination and Unlimited Success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job Domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
So what's keeping you stuck? It's time to get it out of your way for good. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
So today, with Carmen O'Quinn losing 161 pounds in 13 months and maintaining her weight for 13 months, we've gained so much wonderful tips on how to do the same thing. The question is, will you? Carmen, speak to that woman who's sitting at her kitchen table looking at her 2 kids, deciding whether or not she's going to listen and be inspired by your voice.
I want you to know that it doesn't matter how many times you've failed. It doesn't matter how many times you've lost weight and gained it back. It doesn't matter how many plans you've started only to find yourself heavier or exactly where you were. That does not dictate your future. And that you really, it's not as hard as you think. Yes. It is not, the path to get there was so much easier than I ever thought it was going to be. And I want you to hear me on this. There is nothing about my old life, about the morbidly obese bomb, about the limitations, the little box that I had convinced myself was okay to live in. There is nothing about that life that I miss. There is nothing about that life that is better. The life I live today is a life of freedom. It is a life of joy. The stress and anxiety about what stores I'm going to shop in, am I going to fit on the ride at the fair? Am I going to be able to keep up with my kids on the playground instead of sit on the sidelines? I am no longer living on the sidelines. I made the decision to get in the game. I challenge you to do the same thing.
Yes.
And if I can do it, I promise you, you can too.
And Carmen, I 100% agree with you. It is easier than we think.
Yes.
It is easier, and it's more rewarding than what we think. It's incredible how our thoughts can create failure for us without us even trying, without us even stepping into the game or even thinking about the game. And so I know you've been inspired by this woman as I have. She's inspired our entire office. She's inspired one of my very closest friends who I've been so concerned about as I've watched through the years, just poor choices and the body getting larger and larger and just, trying crash diet after crash diet only to end up gaining 20 extra after she lost the last 20. And I'm watching people in our office, and I'm using Carmen O'Quinn. Come on, look what Carmen did. Come on. You don't have to lose it fast. You're going to lose it slow, and you're going to take your time, but you're going to get it done. Come on, just divide it out. In 12 months, if you lose 2 pounds a week, where will you be? And in year 2, where will you be? For the rest of your life, where will you be? Carmen, you have inspired so many that you will never, ever, ever know the impact on the families that you have had because of that moment that I believe it was God convicting you that moment of the kind of life you were going to give your kids and setting them up for obesity based on your choices, that your choices really don't just affect you, but they affect others. And now look, your new choices that you made have affected so many thousands, tens of thousands of others, from the contest that you won to the center of influence that you have to being right here on the show and sharing your story and how you have done it. People are making wiser choices today. This is Dani Johnson. I hope and pray that you enjoyed hearing from Carmen, and I pray more than anything you take action today. Please let us know what you thought about today's show on our website, DaniJohnson.com, or come over and visit us on Facebook. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
This has been the Dani Johnson Show. If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson YouTube channel. We're super excited to have you here. And every single week, we're gonna make sure that you get awesome videos for your business, career, making more money, saving money, annihilating your debt, as well as helping you to handle those really tough problems that you have with people at home as well as at work, and taking those really good relationships you already have and causing them to flourish and grow. All you have to do is click that subscribe button right down here. Click that and you'll be subscribed to an amazing community of people as well as some great videos that will help to improve your life. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe now would be good. Just click it. I know you can see it. It's somewhere down here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.